Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Crafting with Holly. August is so exciting for me because I truly have been waiting for a couple of months to share with you a very special project that I have been working on for the Klompen Stampers August Artisan Crafter. And I was selected by the leader of the Klompen Stampers, Jackie Bolus. I know many of you know her. And I was so honored to have been chosen as the August featured artisan crafter. And I couldn't wait to share with you what I have been creating with the Wildly Flowering Designer Series paper and the Wildflower Designs cling stamp and dies. Oh my goodness, you guys, I have been having so much fun with this paper suite. And I couldn't stop. As I was telling some of my friends, it's like the paper just kept giving birth and I just couldn't resist creating more and more projects. So I have something really special planned for August to share with you each of the different projects that I have been making. And I have 3 double page layouts and I have 6 different cards, 2 of each designs. And I have a full cutting guide that is available, that when you place a $75 order in the month of August, you will get this guide and it will walk you through not only how to make these beautiful cards, but also the 3 double page layouts. It's such a beautiful workshop. I am so proud of it. And I'm also doing something really fun in my private Facebook group, and that is every time you spend $75 in the month of August, you're going to go in for a drawing for $50 in bonus day bucks that I received last month. And I'll be doing that drawing on the 26th of August. So it's really my way of giving back to all of you for supporting me and supporting my business through my transition when I crossed over from close to my heart to Stampin' Up. So let's go ahead. We're going to get started. I want to highlight for you a couple of things. In this book, you're going to notice, this is the annual catalog. You're going to notice on page 22, there are some fabulous card patterns down here. And guess what? I took them and that's how I created my cards. So I've got cutting guides. My cutting guides include all of the measurements, and it also shows you how to maximize every single piece of paper so that there is very little waste. And then the Wildly Flowering Suite Collection is here on page 40 and 41, but the Designer Series paper is part of the sale that's going on right now in the month of August. And so I wanted to just highlight for you what these gorgeous, gorgeous papers look like. And so these are the front and backs of them. Oh my word, the blues really speak to my heart, and I use them probably the most. But I love these Moody Mauve colors, and then the Wild Wheat is another one of my ultimate favorite colors in Stampin' Up. So I had a lot of fun designing with these. Just going to get some of these things out of the way. And I'm going to bring in the papers so that we can go ahead and get started, because today I'm going to walk you through how to make layout number 2. Some of my projects are being featured on Klompen Stampers website, so I can't show them here, but they will be in the guide and you will see them eventually, just not this month because they are being featured on Jackie's website, Klompen Stampers. So these are the other cards that I created, and we're going to have a lot of fun with those this month. So I'm going to set these off to the side because we're not going to work on those today, but this is what I'm going to teach you how to make today. It is this gorgeous double page layout. Let me get it in view so that you can see it. Sorry that Elsbells decided that she wants to be a part of the video today, but I'm going to walk you through how to make this. And oh my word, the blending, the ink blending and the stamping, it's so simple, but it's so elegant. And I really want to show you how you can truly create some beautiful stamped images in a very simple way. And then this is the other side. Just loved how this carried over, and it just creates a very subtle background and accent on a page. And I wanted the pictures to be the hero because after all, that's why we scrapbook, right? It's to tell the stories behind the pictures. And these were some of my favorite pictures of my daughter Paige for her senior pictures. And they just, oh my word, it was like this paper was meant for her pictures. And as soon as I saw this designer series paper, I was like, oh, I know exactly how I'm going to use them. So you can think outside of the box. The second layout that I'm going to be making is going to have completely different pictures on it because I want to show you how versatile this collection really is. Don't think that it has to be formal pictures in order to use it, because it doesn't. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the left page, and I'm going to set it off to the side here so that I can still see what I'm doing without, let's see if I can get these both in view. I want them both in view so that you can see the process. So like I said, everything has been pre-cut. I'm going to lay that there. This is the right page. We're going to stick that one here. And this is the biggest thing that I really want to teach you today, is I want to show you how I created these beautiful images that have that subtle ink blending behind them. It blew me away how quick and easy it was to create these. So these are the pieces that I want right here. I'm going to just move this particular one out of the way for a second and walk you through how I did this. So I took a scratch piece of paper. This one happens to be 3 inches by 12, and that's how I cut out all of my images. But I used a section of it just to get some of the extra ink off of my blending brush because I didn't want to have it overly saturated. So I'm just opening up the Moody Mauve Classic Stampin' Pad, and I tapped my brush into the ink just like that. And then I came over here, and do you see how there's quite a bit of ink on there? I don't want a lot of ink while I'm subtly blending on here. So I'm just lightly, and I'm barely pressing, okay? Barely pressing in a circular motion. You can go right to left to right, it doesn't matter. Just get ink onto your cardstock just like that. And then I am going to take the die that I already have a piece of masking tape on, and I'm going to lay it right where I want to cut it. Oh, actually, before we do that, we need to stamp. Hello. That's the one thing I've learned about these amazing stamps at Stampin' Up. Their dies are like 1/8 of an inch border. So you have to stamp the image first. It's inevitable. So you have to stamp it first and then lay your die down. Otherwise, it will not cut. Like to stamp on top of a cut image, I just can't do it. My brain can't line it up. So I found that this works the best for me. And if you have other tips or tricks that you've learned along the way, I would love it if you would share them in the comments below. I am constantly learning from all of you out there and appreciate your comments, truly. Okay, I'm going to set this off to the side because I love to get dirty when I am stamping. And then I'm going to bring in my little mini Stampin' Up! Cut and Emboss machine. I love this machine. And so I love how their plates tell you exactly how to build your sandwich. 1, 2, that's what we're going to cut on. So I'm going to lay this little guy very carefully right on top with that piece of masking tape so that it does not move. And I found that you need to stagger your plates in order to get them to go through. And again, if you guys have another tip or trick that you've learned for these sandwiches that's better, by all means, share with me. So I am just going to place this in here. I like to kind of push it to get started. And then voila, it glides through like butter, as they say. And look at how beautiful this image is. We can get the masking tape off. Look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so we're going to set that off to the side. The only other thing that I wanted to walk you through how to cut are the mini alphabet dies. So I took a 3 1/4 by 12-inch piece of wild wheat cardstock, and again, you're going to lay it onto your plates just like so. Let me show you my sandwich over here. Probably doesn't have to be that exaggerated. Let's get them so that they cut all the way through on both of them. And then again, we're going to run this plate through just like this. It's a lot easier when you're not having to be on camera. I'm not going to lie. Okay, let me get this lined up so I can push this better. Come on, little guy. This cardstock is much... Okay, let's see. I know this works because I did it. Okay, let's do this. Sometimes you just need to not be in a rush, right? Oh, this would help. Put that on there, Holly. There we go. 1, 2, sandwich in between 2s. Okay. Now let's see if we can... Well, it probably doesn't help that I have my Versamat underneath it, so let's see if we can do this again. Maybe you don't need to have both plates. Maybe I only need to have one plate. Let's see. Let's see if this will work. Probably not, but I'm thinking it needs that. Yeah, it needs that other sandwich. Okay, we're going to take our time. You guys can learn right along with me. I know that this is not that difficult, but I think that I'm just putting so much pressure on myself to run this through. There we go. That's all you needed. You just needed a little slip to get going. Because their cardstock, Stampin' Up's cardstock, is very thick. Now look at how beautiful that is. All of my letters are cut, so that my titles are probably pretty set. I don't know if I need another run through with this. So I'm going to just set these letters off to the side over here. And I may run that through one more time, but I literally just kind of punch them out just like this once they are cut. And I love that there are duplicates of the vowels specifically, but also oh my word, I can't even talk today, you guys. Consonants and vowels. I love that there are multiples. Okay, so I'm going to just punch those out just like that. I'm going to put all of these little guys over here to the side. If I need more of them, I will run them through as needed. But let's go ahead and get this layout put together. Now that the hard stuff is done, the rest of it is going to be relatively easy. And then one other thing that I want to show you is, you know, I make mistakes all the time in scrapbooking. I am not a perfect scrapbooker. I'm not a perfect crafter, but you know what? I know how to fix my mistakes when I make them. And I want to share with you the mistake that I made when cutting my instructions. I cut this piece at 3 inches and it should have been at 4 inches. So we are going to carefully glue this back together, and I really don't think you're going to see the seam when I put this down. So we are going to take this fabulous crumb cake linen textured piece, and we are going to glue that right next to the edge, flush with the left side. And I like to turn my page and kind of get on top of it when I am attaching my pieces. And I'm going to start right over here in this corner. And I'm going to just hold this very carefully and line it up just like that. And then I've got my 1/4 of an inch piece, and I want this to line up. Let's see, let's make sure we have this lined up correctly. Nope. Is it this side? Nope, it's not that one. Maybe it's on this side. Aha, there he is. There's the pattern. Okay, so I'm gonna stick this one on first. And I'm going to get some adhesive on this side. I like to hold these together. Now, if you're using the Stampin' Up! Press and Seal and the Press and Seal Plus, this doesn't always work well because they're like little tabs. And when you try to lift up, they're gonna try and separate. So that was a big learning experience for me, but I'm just gonna peel that away just like that. And then we're gonna place this right next to that Designer Series paper. And this is the Early Espresso cardstock, and I am absolutely 1000% in love with this color. I bought a ton of it because I love it. It is just such a beautiful, gorgeous, dark brown, like a chocolate brown, but it's even deeper and richer. Okay, so we want this piece right here so I can fix my mistake. Let's get this lined up exactly where I want it. And now we're going to glue this one down. And I don't think you're going to see my line, and at least the people, the recipient who's going to get this in her album, which I'm going to make this for Anna, my middle daughter. This is for her graduation pictures, senior pictures that we took. And I don't think she's going to notice that there's that line there. Let me just kind of lift this up a little bit more. Let me get some adhesive right there. So it just did not look like it wanted to sit down the way I wanted it to. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, and then I want to measure. And in the instructions, you'll know exactly where to place your pieces, but this piece right here is going to be placed at the 3-inch mark. So let's grab that next. And that is going to go right there. And then you see that there's some ink blending here and there's some ink blending there. We're going to go ahead and do that right now. We're going to just take the blending brush, and the first ink blending is about at the 7.5-inch mark and about at the, well, let's move this around so we can see these measurements correctly. Okay, so we're going to start at the 3-inch mark and come in to about the 6.5-inch mark. And then over here, we're going to come up to about the 8-inch mark and come in at, again, the 6.5-inch mark. Okay, so let's put this off to the side. And the great thing about this is there is no right or wrong way to do this. And I am just going to use this as my example of where I want to start that. Right in here. And just bring it up a little bit and bring it over a little bit. Just like that. Okay? And then again, the 3-inch mark right in here. And then just kind of bring it down here in this quadrant. And all the way over there. And if you need to add a little bit more, you certainly can, but it's just such a beautiful, subtle accent. Okay, now we're going to get this in the right direction, and we're going to bring this in right like that. Covers up my seam a little bit so you can't even see it. And then we're going to place the photos just like this. And if you're looking on here, they're about a 1/4 of an inch in, and about a 1/2 inch up from this side. 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. Trying to get them straight on here. And then this one is right next to the other one, and again about 1/8 inch apart from each other. Just like that. And then we're going to do some of the stamping that you see right in here, but I first want to see where I'm going to place my flowers. So we're going to tuck one in under here with a little bit of foam tape, dimensionals, and then the other one is going to go over there. So I want to stamp a little piece here, and I want to stamp something here, and then we're going to stamp here, do the title, and then add this one, and then this stamp is going to go onto the next page. So we're going to do that together, and then we're going to stamp that one there. So I'm going to bring in the Early Espresso, and then I've got this fabulous background stamp, and let's just put some ink down here. You guys know me, I'm such a messy stamper. Not by choice, just because. So we want one of those to go right there. And then I'm going to turn the image a little bit, and I want the other one right over here. And then we're going to do the same thing down here. Just turn that just like that. And then let's turn this one over here like that. And then when I go to do this one, I'll show you how I did that with both pages together. Oh, and you know what? I did the same thing over here. I stamped that one onto the other page, and I think what I ended up doing was lifting up this to get that stamp. So that's why that's not secured really well. Okay. Let's get some foam tape on these little guys. I had some leftovers, and I want this one to kind of tuck just like that. And then we're going to tuck this other one in like so. And then I absolutely love these adhesive back texture dots. Oh my word, they are so fabulous. They're just the right accent for this suite. So I'm just placing them strategically right over here like that. And then I did another one over here. And then we're going to spell out favorite, but I'm not going to glue it down right now because I want to get my pictures on here. And I don't want to spend the time having you have to watch me do this. And I normally would have used an adhesive sheet for these, but I didn't. So I am just trying to find all these letters. Need an O and an R. Good thing they were right next to each other. Perfect. And then I'm going to pop this little guy so at least I know where I want him. And I think I'll still be able to get my picture. Whoops. Oh dear. Sorry about that, you guys. Okay. That is going to go just like that. And then I'll put my dot there and a dot there. Let's do that one first, because then I know how far away I want my stamping to be, and then I know I want this one down there like that. Okay, we are ready to move on to the second page. So let me get this over here so carefully. And then I'm going to share with you how I did the stamping. Okay, here we go. And this is going to come together so nicely and quickly because we've done all the hard work. Okay, so I'm going to line these two up. And I am going to get the early espresso. And what I did is I literally came over here and went like that. So that you could have that like that. And then I turned it. And over here, I just lifted this up and did the same thing over there. Just like that. And now I am ready to put everything down. And what I did is I started with the far right side, putting these 3 pieces down, and then came in and lined this up with this piece. So we will do that. And I'm going to turn it this way. Actually, I'm going to turn it this way so that I can go backwards just like I did the last time. Whoops, as I'm dropping things. And again, we're going to line these little guys up. Sorry about hitting the camera. Just going to glue those down. And sometimes it works out beautifully when you line those both up and they stick together perfectly. So let's see if when I get this onto my white base, maybe just a smidge off. But we will just bump that up a little bit. Oops, let's see if we can do this. Just like that. Okay, nice. And then, let's see, when I cut this, actually, I think I cut it this way, didn't I? Nope. I know that I cut these right next to each other. Oh, you know why? Because this is not the piece that I cut. Okay, here is the piece that I cut. And let's see, must have been matched over here. Yep, just like that. Well, it won't matter because they're opposite sides. Sometimes I like it if I can get them lined up. But the biggest thing is to make sure that these patterns are going in the direction that you want. So let's just get this lined up over here. And again, just butt that right up. Make sure that it lines up the way you want it to. And then we're going to lay this down next to each other, just like this. Again, make sure that these go in the right direction, that these flowers are going straight up and down. And then we're going to come over here and attach this, and it hopefully matches at the right. Whoops, let's get this on the page better. Take your time with this part. It can be tedious, but it makes a big difference when things line up correctly. And again, I'm just trying to get that onto the page. This is the hardest part, and guess what? Mine's not going in the right direction, Holly. Good thing I looked at that before I pressed it down. Okay, now let's get this over here and make sure that it is lined up at the right. Yes, perfect. Okay, whew, that was challenging. Okay, now we are ready to take these photo mats And we want this one to come right down here about the 2-inch mark, and again, 1/4 of an inch, about 1/4 of an inch in, just like that. Perfect. And then these little guys are going to come right next to it, just like this. Oh, and actually I brought this down more. Let's do this one. This one comes up about, let me just get on here a little bit better, you guys, so sorry. Because I want, yeah, they need to overlap a little bit. So that one comes down just like that, and then this one just like that. And then we're going to finish with these, and then the snapshots is going to get spelled out right there. So let's just take a couple of letters. Let me just find at least snap. I know I can get that lined up, and we also need to do a little bit more stamping right in here. So let me get snap laid down. Whoops. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in that espresso ink pad. I'm going to wipe off that stamp because I am really I really want to press hard in these ink pads, and you don't have to. They are so well inked and juicy. So I wanted that there, and I want this one here. And you could even have a little bit peeking out, and you could bring in a mask and have just a little smidge peeking out right here, like I did, just like that. And I pressed a little hard, but you know what? Once we get these letters in here, I don't think you're going to see my mistake. Too terribly bad. Look at that. Haha, I hit it. Okay, and then this is going to get tucked behind, and then this is going to get glued down, and I will do that for another time. But all in all, I hope that you enjoyed seeing how to put this layout together, and that you learned a couple of tips or tricks along the way from me. And I can't wait to come back next week and share with you how to make a couple of these cards. So I will check you next week. Have a wonderful rest of your week, you guys, and thank you again for always supporting this channel, liking it, commenting, and most importantly, subscribing. I appreciate you so much. Have a great crafty day.